I am already married, and not to a man.
In the village of Umoka, where red earth kissed bare feet and palm trees whispered secrets to the wind, there lived a woman whose beauty disturbed the peace of men. Her name was Ankiru. Her skin glowed like rain-washed clay. Her eyes were calm like a river at dawn, and her walk carried the quiet confidence of one who knew herself. From far villages, men came pretending to trade yams or palm oil, but truly they came to see Ankiru. Every market day, gifts followed her path: beads, goats, wrappers dyed in indigo. Mothers nudged their sons, fathers cleared their throats and spoke of bride price. But Ankiru rejected them all, gently and without mockery. "I am already married," she would say. The villagers laughed. Married to who? No ceremony had been held. No kola nut broken. No bride price counted. Nkiru lived alone in a small clay house at the edge of the village, and no man was ever seen entering or leaving at night. Some said she was proud. Others said she was cursed. One evening, as elders gathered under the Anuku tree, a hunter spoke boldly. "A woman cannot be married without a husband. If she rejects all men, she insults the ancestors." The elders nodded, uneasy. Beauty, they believed, was a responsibility to the community. But Ankiru paid them no mind. Each dawn, she swept her compound, fetched water, and spoke softly to the wind as if it answered her. At night, she lit a small oil lamp and hummed songs older than the village itself. Unknown to Umoka, Ankiru's marriage had already been sealed, long before any man set eyes on her. And it was not to a man of flesh. Long before men began to chase her shadow, before her beauty became a village discussion, Ankiru was only a thin girl with curious eyes and a heart that listened more than it spoke. That was the year Umuoka nearly died. The rains failed. Yam barns emptied. Goats grew thin. Elders poured libation. But the earth remained silent. One night, as the hunger sat heavily on every roof, Ankiru dreamed of a path glowing faintly in the forest. A voice called her name. Not loud, not frightening, but impossible to ignore. She followed the dream. Barefoot, she walked into the forest while the village slept. The trees parted as though they recognized her. At the heart of the forest stood the ancient Oji tree, older than memory. Beneath it, the air grew heavy, and the ground pulsed like a living thing. Then the voice spoke again. "I am Ezemuo, keeper of the land," it said. "Your people take without listening. They forget the soil has ears." Nkiru fell to her knees, shaking. "They are hungry," she whispered. "Punish me if you must, but spare them." The land was silent for a long moment. Then Ezemuo answered, softer now. "Will you stand between humans and the earth? Will you belong to the land so the land may forgive them?" Ankiru did not fully understand, but she felt the weight of the choice. To accept meant giving up a life of ordinary marriage, ordinary children, ordinary dreams. She agreed. The earth opened slightly, warm beneath her palms. A vow was sealed, not with blood, but with breath and spirit. From that night, Ankiru was bound to the land as its wife and voice. When she returned home at dawn, rain began to fall. As seasons passed and Umoka healed, Ankiru's name began to travel faster than the Harmattan wind. Men no longer spoke only of fertile land or strong harvests. They spoke of the woman whose beauty calmed the eyes yet stirred the blood. Tall, quiet, and graceful, she walked as one who was never in a hurry, and this alone made men restless. Every market day, she was followed by glances and whispers. Mothers pointed her out to their sons. Fathers cleared their throats and spoke of bride price in hopeful tones. Suitors came with goats, with wrappers dyed deep indigo, with promises as long as the river. Each time, Ankiru answered the same. "I am already married." At first, laughter followed her words, then confusion, then anger. "How can a woman marry air?" Some men scoffed. Others said she was proud, that she believed herself greater than the village. A few women muttered that beauty always brought trouble. Among all who heard of her, Obinna, the chief's son, was the most disturbed. He had never been refused. His name alone opened doors. His gifts bent heads. When Nkiru turned him away without fear or excitement, something dark stirred in him. "She insults me," he said. "If no man owns her, then she belongs to the bold." One night under a moonless sky, Obinna and his friends crept toward Nkiru's compound. The air grew heavy with each step. Crickets fell silent. Even the dogs refused to bark. As Obinna crossed their threshold, the ground shifted beneath his feet. Roots burst from the soil, wrapping his legs like living ropes. A wind rose suddenly, cold and furious, knocking torches from hands. Darkness swallowed courage. Then the voice came, deep, ancient, and without mercy. "She is taken!" Obinna screamed as the earth pulled him down, not to kill, but to warn. His friends fled, abandoning him to the unseen power. By morning, Obinna lay in the village square, alive but broken. His hair had turned white like ash, and his voice was gone. From that day, desire in Umuoka learned fear. The morning Obinna was found in the village square, silence fell over Umuoka like mourning cloths. No drum sounded, no woman sang. Children were pulled indoors as elders gathered, their faces drawn tight with fear and shame. The chief's son, strong, proud, and whole the night before, now lay trembling. His hair white as ash, his mouth opening and closing without sound. The elders needed no diviner to know this was no ordinary misfortune. By midday, a messenger was sent for Nkiru. She came without delay, walking calmly into the square. There was no fear in her eyes, no triumph in her steps. She looked upon Obinna once, then lifted her gaze to the elders beneath the great tree. "Speak," the oldest elder said softly. "Tell us what we have refused to hear." Nkiru knelt and placed her hands on the earth. Her voice was steady as she spoke of the drought long past, of the night she followed a dream into the forest, and of the vow she made beneath the ancient Oji tree. She told them of Ezemo, keeper of the land, and of her marriage, not of flesh, but of spirit and duty. Some elders murmured in disbelief. Others lowered their heads, remembering seasons when the land had answered her presence. Words alone, however, could not carry such a truth. So Nkiru rose and led them into the forest. At the foot of the Oji tree, she touched the soil. Instantly, cool wind circled the elders. Dry ground darkened with life. Tender green shoots broke through hardened earth, though it was not their season. The forest listened as if holding breath. The oldest elder fell to his knees and wept. "We were blind," he cried. "We tried to claim what belonged to the land." A cleansing ceremony was declared. Goats were offered, kola nuts broken, palm wine poured in apology. Songs were sung, not to free Nkiru, but to honor her bond. From that day, the village named her Nkiru Nunye Allah, wife of the earth. Men no longer desired her with hunger. They honored her with silence and respect. And Umoka learned that not all truth shouts, some wait to be bowed before. From the day the village recognized her bond, Nkiru's life changed, though her path remained simple. She did not wear crowns, nor did she sit among chiefs, yet no major decision in Umoka was made without a quiet council. When elders argued over land boundaries, she listened and placed her palm on the soil. The earth itself seemed to guide her words. Seasons came and went. When hunters killed more than they needed, animals vanished into the forest until balance returned. When farmers planted without rest, crops weakened, and Nkiru advised them to let the land breathe. Those who obeyed prospered. Those who mocked learned through hunger. Though she lived alone, Nkiru was never lonely. At dusk, the wind whispered to her. In dreams, Ezemo spoke, not as a jealous husband, but as a guardian reminding her of the vow they shared. She belonged to the land, and the land in turn protected her. Years folded into decades. Children who once feared her grew old enough to bring their own children to greet her with reverence. They called her Mother of the Soil, though she bore no child of her own. When her time came, Nkiru did not fall ill. One evening, she walked into the forest, leaning lightly on a staff. She knelt beneath the Oji tree where her vow had begun. As the sun sank, the earth opened gently, as a husband welcoming his wife home. She was buried there, without wailing or fear. By morning, a clear stream flowed from the base of the tree. It never dried, even in the harshest harmattan. Crops near it grew fuller. Travelers drank and felt strength return to their bones. Elders say the land still remembers her footsteps. And so, in Umoka, parents teach their children, do not mock what you cannot see. Not every marriage is sealed with drums. Some unions are sworn to destiny. Some women belong to the earth itself. Thus ends the tale of the village beauty who rejected men because she was already married.